What a weekend of college football that we had. You have the incredible upset, a, several different fights, and you had Oklahoma, Michigan. We're going to break it all down right here, right now on the Hildreth Media YouTube channel. Let's start with a big one. Florida, South Florida. The Bulls putting together the best resume in the country right now. Wins over top 25 teams. Absolutely dog walking the Boise State Broncos. Going into the swamp and beating the Gators. And this weekend, they are playing at Miami in Hard Rock, the number 5 team in the country. And I guess it goes it goes without saying. There's a chance. There is a chance. Because I do think Florida is, well, before this game, anyway, I think Florida is actually a better team than Miami. So it's not implausible. And the thing is, Florida, this game was fairly even most of the way through. 391 total yards for the Bulls, 355 for the Gators. 6 of 16 on third down for South Florida, 4 of 12 for the Gators. I mean, the Bulls slightly more efficient in the passing game, even on the run game. The penalties, 11 for 103 for the Gators. And then, Florida even had the time of possession. I mean, South Florida didn't play their best game, and they were still able to go into the swamp and win. But if this is indicative of how bad Florida is, that they can't beat an AAC team at home, their schedule doesn't get easier. This was the easiest game that they will play the rest of the way. At LSU, at Miami, Texas, at A&M, Mississippi State. We're going to be talking about them here in a bit. Have Georgia, at Kentucky, at Ole Miss, Tennessee, a re-emerging Florida State. One of the few teams this weekend that didn't look like they've never touched a football in their life. I mean, Florida, if they continue to play like that, they're staring down the barrel of 1-11. 1-11. Yes. Best case scenario, 3-9. I mean, we'll be talking about Texas and their panic button, but Florida State, that panic button is broken. I mean, the only way Napier saves his job at this point is if they go on a legendary run. And with this schedule, And then South Florida, if they can pull off one final upset at Hard Rock, they're looking at a magical season. Because after Miami, it's smooth sailing. South Carolina State, Charlotte, at North Texas, FAU, at Memphis, University of Texas San Antonio, at Navy, UAB, Rice. That you can run the table with that. With one final upset. I mean, you might be looking at South Florida being in that dance. Being in that 12-team dance. And Florida, they're going to be looking for a new head coach. And then we have another large upset, if I can find it. There we go. Mississippi State, Arizona State. Now, Arizona State, they don't have this big, massive win to say, oh, yeah, it was just a slip up and nothing to panic over. They got beat by the worst team in the SEC. And they were down 7. They were down. Let's see here. They were down 17-0 at one point. Yeah, they turned it on late, but it wasn't soon enough. This and they even gained the lead at one point. So it is a mess. Arizona State went from the national darlings to, oh my. Arizona State outdid them on third down. Mississippi State, though, they were better on third down. Identical in total yardage. Only 82 passing yards. 82 passing yards for Sam Leavitt. This be a problem. You cannot, if you are going up against a team that should be not nearly as good as you are, and only get 82 yards. That is 3.6 yards per attempt. With 2 picks. Good Lord. 251 yards on the ground to Mississippi State 66. So, I mean, I get that you want to be run heavy, but you got to be able to throw the ball. And especially with someone like Sam Leavitt. And their schedule, they got Texas State, which they'll beat. And then at Baylor, TCU, at Utah, Texas Tech. I have no idea about it. At Iowa State, West Virginia, which that'll be a win. At Colorado, which should be a win. And then Arizona, which should be a win. So, I mean, you're going from Big 12 favorites to right back to the middle. Right back towards the middle. Because if Sam Leavitt's only able to get 82 yards passing against this Mississippi State team, there's some problems. And then we move on to the almost upset of Troy and Clemson. Troy led this game 16-0 at one point. Now, Clemson was able to get it back together and put up 24 points in the second half. But, yeah, it's very, very concerning. I get Troy isn't your average cupcake, but ugh. And then you got to go to Atlanta this weekend. Georgia Tech is better than Troy. And this could very well be an upset special. Georgia Tech, they are a 3.5 point dogs in that game, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about later in the week. But and you got Georgia Tech at Boston College. They're no slouch. You got Florida State, and then you got South Carolina. You already used the safety net against LSU, and you didn't look good doing it. And as we found out later, LSU didn't look good either. You had a lot of teams. Georgia didn't look good. Penn State didn't look good. LSU didn't look good. Texas didn't look good. South Carolina didn't look good. A&M, they struggled. Ole Miss, they struggled. It was a weird weekend that a lot of people said was going to be boring. I said it was going to be interesting, and boy, was I freaking right again. Texas, they struggled. We got to talk about this game. Because had it not been for 4 turnovers of San Jose State, this would be a totally different conversation. Arch Manning, for the second week in a row, did not look good. I gave him a pass. It's in Columbus. It is a big game. Columbus is one of the toughest places to play in the country. So, okay, you get a pass. This, you are at home against an inferior opponent, and you still look bad. That panic button, it's not hit yet, but that glass case over it, that's coming up. That's coming up, allowing you to hit it. And let me tell you, they got UTEP and Sam Houston, and then at Florida, which we already talked about those guys, and then you have Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl. They just knocked off Michigan, and Michigan ain't no slouch. At Kentucky, we just found out they can hang. At Ole Miss, or at Mississippi State, who knows how good they are. They just beat the number 12 team in the country. Then you got Vanderbilt, and this ain't Grandpa's Vanderbilt either. These guys can play. Then you got at Georgia. Good luck. But we'll be talking about them here soon as well. And then you got Arkansas, and then you have Texas A&M. Good luck, Texas. Because all that hype that you have received over the course of the week, or over the course of the offseason, it is blowing up badly. And then you have Penn State. They didn't look great. Only 200 yards out of Drew Aller. You have the best quarterback in the country in Drew Aller. You're only able to get 200 yards with a QBR of 57.2, which is above the average, barely, but you're playing an inferior opponent at home. That's not going to be good enough to beat Oregon. Certainly not going to be good enough to beat Ohio State. And had 2 turnovers for FIU. They dominated in total yards, which should. And FIU had the time of possession because they were 6 of 18 on third down. Third down defense. Crucial. Crucial in the Big Ten. And in football in general. But especially the Big Ten. Then you have South Carolina. They didn't open up a can on South Carolina State. Lenora Sellers, a 20 QBR rating. 11 of 19, 128, and a touchdown. Only 125 yards on the ground. Yeah, South Carolina isn't exactly billed to who we thought they were. That is becoming abundantly clear. They got Vanderbilt this weekend. Then they got Missouri. In Columbia. They got to go to LSU. They got Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, A&M. All back to back to back to back to back. And then they get Coastal because the SEC's got to play their cupcake in November because it's so hard. Which, when we get to that week, oh, you're gonna hear about it. And then you got Clemson. Big problems in Columbia, South Carolina. And then, let's see, what's A&M. They didn't look good, but Utah State, they're kind of like Troy, not your average cupcake. And also, I don't see A&M as being a top dog anyway. And then, yeah, what might be a game of the year candidate with Baylor and SMU. 48-45. Sawyer Robertson, he played how I expect him to play. 34-50, 440, 4 touchdowns. 90, almost a 92 QBR rating. Kevin Jennings, very good as well for SMU. 16-22, 295, 3 touchdowns and a pick. And then, take a look at stats here. I mean, this sucker went to double overtime. Hell of a game. 32 first downs, 8 of 18, 3 of 6 on fourth down. So, very aggressive. 601 total yards, 458 for SMU. Even on rushing. Not too bad on the penalties. Baylor did fumble the ball twice. Wild. But yeah, it was a hell of a game. Baylor is turning out to be who I am expecting them to be. It just took them a week. Or Auburn's better than what I'm giving them credit for, which is definitely possible because I do have a bias against Hugh Freeze. I think he's a horrible human being, but that's for a different video. And then we have the Battle of the Cyhawk. Good old-fashioned Big Ten style game featuring a Big 12 team. 16-13, the Cyclones. They get their first win at home for the first time since like 2010. First time going back-to-back on Iowa since I think it was 2010 and 2011. And I think that's the first home team to win in like 6 years. So, very, very strange rivalry this is. The rushing game for Iowa State, very pedestrian. 3.5 yards a carry, 104 yards. Iowa's just as pedestrian. 39 of 131, 3.4 yards a carry. They just got a touchdown out of it. I mean, this was a defensive war. It was a slobber knocker. Although I will say, if Iowa State wants to do something special in the Big 12, they got to find something with the pass rush. It was not good. You had Gronowski all day to throw. Fortunately for the Cyclones, Gronowski, with the one game that I've seen out of him so far, he's an athlete who happens to be a quarterback instead of the other way around. So if Iowa State wants to do something special, they've got to find a way to get to the quarterback. And then you had another game, and I pointed this out because I said that this was going to be a good game, and it did not disappoint. Double overtime, Michigan State, Boston College, 42-40, Sparty on top. Boston College wasn't able to convert 2-point conversion where Sparty was. Aiden Childs looked like an absolute monster. 19 of 29, 4 touchdowns, 231 yards, QBR of 86.8. Dylan Longren, the Boston College quarterback, 34 of 45, 390, 4 touchdowns with a QBR of 88.9. I mean, this was a absolute clinic that these two put on. Boston College, they struggled to run the ball on Michigan State. A lot of people are going to have those issues against old Sparty. Sparty, though, they were able to run the ball, which essentially was the difference. Mekhi Frazier, 17 carries, 81 yards. The team averaged 4.3 yards a carry and a touchdown. One from Childs. I mean, what a game. What a game. Very, very pleased with, very entertained from that game. And then we got the game of the week. Game day was in attendance. Big noon kickoff was in attendance. In Norman, Oklahoma. John Mateer, he's a baller. He is an absolute gamer, as I expected. Didn't quite have the Heisman type game that I was thinking he was going to have, but won nonetheless. 21 of 34, 270, a touchdown and a pick. Bryce Underwood, he struggled, as I expected. True freshman, second game. It's on the road. It's in Norman. Tough place to play. I mean, like I said, this is kind of a figuring out year for Michigan. Do they have the chance to do something special in the back half? Yes. But they, I believe they're going to get a little bit of time to kind of... Okay, they're going to get one more game to kind of grow up a little bit. And I mean that in a... and I mean that in a literal sense, not like a behavioral sense. But with Central Michigan, because then they go on the road to Nebraska, and then they got Wisconsin, at USC, Washington, at Michigan State, Purdue, at Northwestern, at Maryland, Ohio State. So they get one more week to figure it out before it's go time if they want to do something special with this team, which it's going to be a tall ask of them. It really truly is. And then you had Duke, Illinois. That game went exactly as I thought, close early, and then Illinois pulls away late. Mensa did what I thought he did, about what I thought he was going to do. Altmaier, 3 touchdowns, looked great. The running game, though, for Illinois was not what I thought it was going to be at all. Under 3 yards a carry as a team. Definitely a major problem that they'll get fixed. Brett Bielema is a tremendous coach. He will get it figured out. And then, let's see. Is there anything else to Oh, wow. UNLV beat UCLA. Okay, that's wow. Okay. Oh, yeah. Then we got Georgia and Austin Peay. My beloved Bulldogs. Stockton He didn't look great. Couldn't get a touchdown pass. All of them came on the ground with Frazier and Bowens. 190 yards, 40 carries, 4.8 yards a carry between the team. Austin P. I mean, they hung tough. They hung tough. And I am really, really uncomfortable as a fan of the Dogs. Fumble, like, okay, so I'm gonna rattle off the drives. Fumble, touchdown, punt, end of half, touchdown, fumble, punt, touchdown, punt. I mean, and the touchdown drives, they had one. They were only able to put. Okay, they were able to put 2 solid drives together. The final touchdown that they got, 17 plays, 99 yards, 8 minutes, 43 seconds. And then 10 plays, 80 yards, 5 minutes and 16 seconds on their second possession. Second one, or the second touchdown to go up 14-0, 9 plays, 56 yards. That was a good drive, but it's got to be a lot more consistent than that against a team like Austin P. If you're going to go in and beat the Alabamas, if you're going to go in and beat the Texases, beat the Tennessees, which that is this week, Tennessee is this weekend, you have to be able to have a will-breaking drive. And I'm not sure that Georgia's going to be able to do that consistently enough. Topple Tennessee, topple Bama. Who knows what Auburn's going to do? Who knows what Ole Miss is going to be? And Georgia Tech. I've been high on Georgia Tech. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. I think I covered all the bases. And yeah, we can make fun of Rich Rod at West Virginia as they lose to the Bobcats. Unless the Bobcats want to shock the world this weekend and beat Ohio State, which would be quite ironic because no team in the state of Ohio has beaten Ohio State. I don't think ever. I don't think ever. If it has, it's been a very, very long time. So, yeah. So, yeah, if you're, so check on your Florida friends today. Check on your West Virginia friends today. They are, they're not feeling it. And let's see. So the AP poll has come out at this point, and Penn State, LSU, and Texas were not punished for their bad play. Looks like Oregon was promoted for playing nobody. Then Ohio State, number 1 team in the country, as they should be. So Ohio State were right where they should be. Penn State should be lower. LSU has the better win. So actually, I would put LSU at 2. Then I'd put Oregon at 3, Penn State at 4. Or Penn State at 5. I'll put Miami at 4. They got a quality win. And Illinois up to 9. Florida State up to 10. South Carolina humbles a bit. Clemson getting clobbered down 4 spots to 12. Oklahoma jumps up 5 places to 13. Iowa State up 2. Tennessee up 7 for beating nobody. A&M up 3. Ole Miss up 3. South Florida is officially ranked. They are the highest ranked. Oh, actually, no. They're the second highest ranked Florida team. As Arizona State has fallen out. Georgia Tech's coming. Florida's fallen out. USC's coming. ECU's coming. Mississippi State's coming. Yeah. Wow, that is a harsh punishment from SMU. And then Michigan tumbles 8 spots to 23. So that is I wonder if that's the updated coach. Not sure. Doesn't matter. Coach poll is garbage. But anyway. So that is your week 2 wrap up. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any football, racing, news, true crime, you name it, we're doing it. We'll see you in the next one.